Good evening and many thanks for joining us on the midweek edition of Primetime News. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm Joy Goses. In our top story tonight, 3 police officers involved in the shooting and murder of 5 suspects last week Tuesday have been registered for a murder case. The Namibian police also revealed a case of attempted murder and malicious damage to property was also registered against the 6th suspected robber who fled the scene. Josephine Simeon filed our lead report.
In a statement released by the Deputy Inspector General for Operation, Elias Mutota, it was alleged that the officers were responding to intelligence-led information of a planned armed robbery to be carried out at a farm in the Khomas district and S.J. Slot gambling house in Okahanja. According to Mutota, the officers persuaded the suspect from the Ventuko-Okahanja traffic checkpoint to Okahanja town, where the suspect allegedly disappeared. Later on, the suspects were spotted at a gambling house near the Okahanja municipality offices, where a hot pursuit within the Okahanja town ensued. During the pursuit, the suspects allegedly shot at the pursuing police car, which triggered an exchange of fire. Mutota further noted that one of the suspects was allegedly seen jumping out of a moving vehicle during the exchange of fire and ran into the nearby riverbed where he disappeared. Eventually, the vehicle of the suspects came to a standstill. It was at this point that the police observed that 5 suspects were in the vehicle and were struck by the bullets during the shooting. Upon searching the suspect's vehicle after the crossfire, housebreaking equipment, knives and 2 air guns were found. The deceased suspects were identified as Abed Andreas, also known as Kope, Flavians Kaluwapo and Jala, known as Kalu, Marius Ipinge, known as Cheki, Malakai Iambo Kotokeni, known as Brown, and Eric Martin Akawa. Mutota revealed that the deceased had 24 pending cases for which they were arrested and were granted bail involving housebreaking and theft, armed robberies, robbery with aggravating circumstances, possession of firearms and ammunition without a license, attempted murder, discharge of firearms in municipal area, illegal dealing in firearms, malicious damage to property, theft out of a motor vehicle, displaying a fake vehicle plate number and escape from lawful custody. The post-mortem on the deceased has been completed and further forensic investigation into the vehicle, cell phones, firearms involved as well as the item found in the suspect's vehicle is still ongoing. Mutota urged the public to allow the investigation process to continue unhindered, thus seeking for public patience into this serious matter. All 3 police officers involved in the shooting did not sustain any injuries.
Moving on to a positive milestone for the country. Namibia has reclaimed the #1 position on the 2023 World Press Freedom Index as the country with the freest press in Africa, from 2nd position the previous year. Namibia is also ranked 22nd out of 180 countries in the world.
In a media statement issued by the presidency earlier today, President Dr. Hage Geingob expressed delight, saying the media is crucial to democracy and plays an essential role in keeping the public informed and government institutions accountable. The statement further read that therefore the media is an important pillar of effective governance and should be assured that he will guarantee freedom of the 4th estate for as long as he is president of this country. The statement further added that the strength of Namibia in press freedom is a function of the commitment of President Geingob and the government that he leads to upholding the values of the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. The Press Freedom Index is published annually on 3 May, which is World Press Freedom Day, and 2023 marks the 30th anniversary of World Press Freedom Day. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
Our next report emanates from the Erongo region, where the Orano desalination plant has opened a visitor center which will enable them to host larger groups of visitors at the plant without creating a big impact to the technology team operating the plant. More from this insert.
The new center not only increases the scope of the visitors to be hosted at the plant in terms of group sizes, but the plant can now also facilitate school groups of learners younger than 16 years to whom additional opportunities for workshops and meetings focusing on the all-important technology of desalination are offered. Executive Chairperson of Orano Mine in Namibia, Hilifa Mbako, at the center near Vloskasbakken on Tuesday, highlighted that opening the plant to the public, especially learners, is an event which does not often happen in mine settings and should be commended as it creates a platform for more information on the plant to be shared. Mbako expressed that the benefits of the center are many, and over the years, they have witnessed the transfer of technology, research skills and water demand management, among others. He added that the skills and knowledge being transferred to young Namibians will enable the country to continuously share the intellectual properties generated while working at the plants. Erongo Governor Neville Andre noted that Orano Desalination Plant has the ability to provide water to rural areas with water shortages within the region. The desalination plant is currently the largest and only reverse osmosis desalination plant in Southern Africa, producing close to 20 million cubic meters of water per annum. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
On to neighboring Zambia, where President Hakainde Hichilema on Tuesday urged African countries to guard against extremism and terrorism as they have the capacity to hinder development. More from this insight.
Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema on Tuesday urged African countries to guard against extremism and terrorism as they have the capacity to hinder development. The Zambian president said the two vices create fear and instability and could hinder Africa's desire to accelerate economic development. The Zambian head of state urged the delegates to explore ways to enhance intelligence capabilities and information sharing to manage the security challenges facing the continent, adding that it is important for countries to work together to ensure peace on the continent. He further called on security agencies to curb the growing problem of illegal immigrants in Africa. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
Your top roundup is up next. Welcome to the business segment. Namibia recorded a sharp decline in its beef exports. Statistics indicated 1,652,213 kilograms of beef was exported to various destinations during the first quarter of 2023, compared to 2,043,683 kilograms exported during the same period in 2022. These numbers contributed to the low volume of beef exports globally. Shalva Wells filed the story.
According to the Livestock and Meat Industry Report released by the Meat Board of Namibia, 61.7% of total beef exported during the period under review went to the Netherlands, 16.6% to China, 11.0% to South Africa, and 8.2% to the UK, while beef exports to the Norwegian market accounted for only 2.3% of total beef exports during this period. The remaining 0.2% was split between Angola and Botswana. The report further showed that mutton export climbed by 270.6% in the first 3 months of 2023, owing mostly to increasing production quantities. A total of 158,634 kg of mutton was exported to South Africa and 59,979 kg to Norway. The report further stated that during the first quarter of 2023, a total of 35,694 kg of mutton, primarily obtained from China and Australia in the form of offal products, were imported, compared to 123,471 kg imported during the same time in 2022.
Meanwhile, Namibia has recorded a significant increase of 4.9% in pork imports from the European Union in the first quarter of 2023. Again, Shava Wells filed this insert.
A livestock and meat industry report released by the Meat Board of Namibia indicated that local pork production met 31.5% of domestic pork consumption requirements, while imports met the remaining 68.5%. It said pork imports for the first quarter of 2023 were primarily recorded from Germany at 52.8%, Spain at 24.5%, South Africa at 9.2%, and the EU at 13.4%. The huge increase in pork imports from the EU markets is due to the foot and mouth disease outbreak in South Africa, which has required a shift as an alternative.
This brings us to the end of our top news segment for tonight. It's now a look at what the weather has in store across the country. Welcome to Sport Planet. We begin the segment with League One football. Lionel Messi has been disciplined by Paris Saint-Germain for his trip to Saudi Arabia without the club's permission, a source with knowledge of the matter confirmed to Xinhua on Tuesday. The source didn't specify the length of the suspension, but French media RMC and L'Equipe reported earlier in the day that the Argentine star will be hit with a 2-week suspension with no training, no match, and no salary. Messi, who had played in PSG's 3-1 home defeat to Lorient in Ligue 1 on Sunday, wasn't present at the team's training session the following day as he traveled to Saudi Arabia to attend a commercial activity as a tourism ambassador. A 2-week suspension means that Messi will miss his team's away match against Troyes and the home clash with Ajaccio. His contract with PSG expires at the end of the season, and it's very likely that he has only 3 more games to play with the French capital team since the two sides seems to have drifted apart. On to some rugby. The South African Rugby Union today said that it was too early to predict whether Springboks captain Siya Kolisi will play in this year's Rugby World Cup after a knee surgery. Team Dr. Jerome Mambane said it was too early to make any reliable forecast on when Kolisi may be able to return to play, SA Rugby said in a statement. Kolisi underwent surgery on Friday after suffering a partial tear to his anterior cruciate ligaments and injured the meniscus on both sides of his knee in a United Rugby Championship match against Munster almost 2 weeks ago. The injury sparked fears that the 31-year-old flanker, who led the Springboks to World Cup glory in Japan in 2019, could miss the World Cup in France, which begins on September 8. Stand by for the sports roundup. With that, we have come to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thanks for tuning in. Do make a date with us again on Friday. From myself, Joy Gosses, and the entire crew behind the scenes, it's good night.